Today, we're diving into something that's, well, probably on a lot of creative minds, especially if you work in 3D. We're asking, what's the actual impact of artificial intelligence on the demand for, specifically, Blender artists?
It's a big one.
It really is. So our goal for this deep dive, using the sources you shared, is basically to pull out the most crucial bits of information.
Right, to help you navigate what's happening.
Precisely. The core question from our sources boils down to this. Are Blender artists going to be replaced by AI?
Or maybe just less demand.
Or less demand, yeah.
Yeah.
Or will the job itself just evolve, become something different?
That seems to be the crux of it.
So we're going to break down the answers, look at the key areas, and hopefully give you a really balanced perspective.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty then. What specific tasks can AI tools already do right now when we talk about Blender work? Because this is where the changes feel most immediate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, one thing that really stands out from the sources is just how far these AI tools have already come. It's kind of impressive and maybe a bit scary for some.
Okay, like what specifically?
So we're talking about AI handling things like automatically retopologizing really complex sculpts, in just seconds.
Right, that used to be painstaking.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or generating pretty high-quality PBR textures based on just a single image reference.
Wow.
And even creating rough blocking models for whole environments just from a basic layout sketch. It can even manage quite a bit of animation work now.
So a lot of the groundwork, the more tedious stuff.
Exactly. Tasks that were really meticulous, manual labor. Think about maybe skipping the UV unwrapping process or having AI generate decent UV maps for tricky models. That stuff is happening. And that, well, it fundamentally changes the traditional workflow for a lot of artists.
It certainly sounds like it.
Yeah.
Which inevitably leads to the next question, doesn't it? If the machines can automate so much.
What's left for us?
Yeah, what's left for the human artist?
Yeah.
Where do our unique skills, still really matter?
And this is where I think it gets really interesting because, okay, AI can automate tasks, sure, but it fundamentally lacks, well, the core things that make someone an artist.
Like what? The vision.
Exactly. Human expertise, creative thinking, they're absolutely still required for that that nuanced understanding of what a project is really about. An AI might generate a scene that's technically perfect, right? Flawless geometry, textures look real.
Yeah.
But only a human Blender artist can inject the subtle cultural context or a hidden narrative or that specific emotional feeling, the stuff that turns data into actual art.
The soul, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. And that includes the intuition to sometimes break the rules, to do something unexpected, groundbreaking.
Right. AI follows patterns. Humans can break them.
Precisely. Interpreting an abstract brief with genuine originality, making those really critical, almost philosophical judgments about what good art even means when AI is involved.
Okay.
That deep grasp of context, emotion, and frankly, taste that's still firmly in the human domain.
That's a really strong point for human creativity. Okay, but let's connect this to careers. How might demand change? Specifically thinking about, say, junior versus senior Blender artists. Are they affected differently?
Yeah, that's a key distinction the sources make. The impact probably won't be the same across the board.
Okay.
The analysis suggests that junior-level tasks, often the more repetitive stuff, more focused on technique, following set procedures.
The bread and butter work, something?
Kind of, yeah. That might be more vulnerable to AI automation. So this could change what entry-level roles actually look like. Maybe less pure technical execution and more refining what the AI spits out or helping craft the prompts to get the right results.
Interesting. So what about senior artists then?
Well, on the flip side, senior artists who are usually already dealing with complex problem-solving, managing projects, setting the creative direction, making those high-level critical calls.
Right, the bigger picture stuff.
Exactly. Their expertise might actually become more valuable. Their ability to guide the process, refine the output, innovate strategically. AI can't do that.
So their skills are still needed, but maybe applied differently.
That's the idea. Maybe they're overseeing AI-generated assets more, or correcting AI topology so it animates properly, or even inpainting details onto an AI render to perfect, say, a character's expression. It's more about direction and quality control.
That makes sense. But it does raise a question for me. If those foundational junior tasks get automated, how do new artists actually build up the skills to become those senior artists later on? Is there a risk of a skill gap?
That's a really sharp question. And yeah, the sources do touch on that potential challenge. It suggests the definition of foundational skills itself might just have to evolve.
How so?
Well, junior artists will still need to grasp the core principles, composition, lighting, form, all that. But their learning curve might involve working with AI tools right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
Learning how to direct them effectively, how to critically judge the output, how to integrate it. It becomes less about mastering the manual repetition and more about intelligent supervision and skillful refinement.
So learning to collaborate with the AI, essentially.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Which brings us nicely to the longer-term view. What are the predictions looking like for actual career opportunities for Blender artists, say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, let's look ahead. What does this shift really mean long term?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the landscape isn't necessarily shrinking, but it seems to be shifting quite profoundly.
Okay. Shifting how?
The predictions really point towards an evolution, not, mass extinction.
Right.
Future roles for Blender artists might increasingly involve things like supervising AI outputs being the quality check.
Makes sense.
Or refining AI-generated content to match a very specific creative vision. Or maybe focusing almost entirely on a high-concept creative direction where the artist is more like a conductor for these AI tools rather than playing every instrument themselves.
So less hands-on grunt work, more high-level direction.
Exactly. It really emphasizes developing these hybrid skill sets, artists learning to leverage AI as this incredibly powerful tool to boost their own productivity and creative reach.
So AI becomes an assistant, almost.
A very powerful one, yeah.
Yeah.
Spending less time on the basic modeling, the texturing, and more time on the why and the how. Crafting unique prompts, orchestrating different AI systems, making those crucial creative calls.
Which could free them up for other things.
Absolutely. More time for storyboarding, character development, experimenting with really new visual styles that might have been too time-consuming before.
Okay, so if we try and tie this all together, looking at the bigger picture, what's the balanced conclusion you really want our listener to walk away with about the future for Blender artists?
I think the most balanced takeaway from the sources is pretty clear. The demand for Blender artists is unlikely to just vanish or be drastically cut across the board. Replaced or reduced aren't quite the right words.
This is more nuanced.
Much more. The most probable outcome seems to be a really significant evolution of roles and the skills needed.
Okay.
Artists will adapt. They'll learn to incorporate these AI tools, use them to boost productivity, and shift their focus towards that higher value creative work. The parts that genuinely need human insight, human vision, human feeling.
It really does make you rethink what Blender artist even means, doesn't it?
Completely.
Okay, so summing up the key takeaways then. AI is automating specific tasks, no doubt about it.
Yep.
But human creativity, that artistic vision, the problem solving, that remains essential, irreplaceable.
Crucial.
Junior and senior roles likely face different kinds of impacts, with senior strategic skills potentially becoming even more valued.
Right.
And the future, overall, points less towards replacement and more towards evolution, new ways of working, new opportunities, collaborating with AI.
Exactly. Which I think leads to a final thought, maybe a question for you listening.
Go for it.
How will you personally start thinking about leveraging these evolving tools? How can you use them to deepen your own creative impact and maybe even expand what you thought was possible with your art?
That's a fantastic question to leave things on. A lot to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into, a really fascinating and fast-moving area where tech meets art.
Always interesting.
Keep exploring, keep creating, everyone, and we'll connect with you next time.